This is insane. Which should she, I mean, arguably we should always title Laura Ingraham's videos that way. I'm curious.
Now, last night I predicted that most Democrats would glean all the wrong lessons from the Republican victories. And today I was proven...
Victory. Well, I mean, right, whatever, Texas City Council or some shit.
Right. The progressives were back at it on Capitol Hill today. Instead of hitting the brakes on their radical spending spree, they want to slam on the accelerator.
Does it change the agenda for the House? No.
Is paid family leave going back into the bill without Joe Manchin's okay?
You know, I'm so excited that it is going back into the bill. It's been a priority of the Progressive Caucus for a long time, and we're thrilled.
I think Terry McAuliffe has been saying for weeks that his...
That's what people are talking about the paid family leave thing back in the recon bill. That's still a negotiation point. It's not in the other bill, and it won't pass in reconciliation. You put it in. This is sort of a ploy, I would guess, by Pelosi to placate the progressives, but there's no way that paid family leave actually qualifies under reconciliation. It can be filibustered. Sorry, just doesn't.
It's tied to the progress of negotiations here on Capitol Hill, and there ought to be a clear message to my party.
Senator, what went wrong last night?
Failure to deliver.
Okay, well, all...
Yeah. The infrastructure bill. Pass the fucking thing. McAuliffe would have squeezed out a win over that. He really would have. Yeah.
You know, they're still misreading the electorate. Bernie Sanders was not elected president. Biden was. Now, sure, Blumenthal's...
Well, all right. That's progress. Can we probably need to clip that shit. Laura, I'm telling you, that's going to come back to haunt you. You're going to need to do you're going to need to Sieg Heil in a mall or something to make up for that one.
There was a failure to deliver, but McAuliffe turned out a record number of Democrat voters. But the problem was Republicans came out in bigger numbers, and not for spending trillions on new entitlements or amnesty for illegals.
Amnesty for illegals? They didn't care. Those weren't on none of that is, the Virginia gubernatorial race does not determine any of those things.
An end to our energy independence, none of that. Now, this was one of my favorite.
Really? Because that's what McAuliffe ran on. I mean, did you see his bumper sticker? Where it was like, you know, elect me and all the illegals will stop the oil and gas from coming into our country so you can pay what you really want to pay at the pump. More.
Exchanges of the day with a liberal, he was a progressive member of the House Appropriations Committee. Now, even the CNN anchor seemed exasperated.
Dems have no idea what Americans want. That's the title card on there. Apparently New Jersey people do then, I guess.
What lessons can be learned, in your view, from the Virginia race?
Number one thing is they wanted Democrats with majorities to get something done.
But you didn't get it done before the Virginia race because progressives were holding up the infrastructure bill.
Reporters, so I'm a journalism major. The only people who ask me when we're going to pass a bill are reporters.
But the infrastructure bill could have actually it was passed in August. It's been, what, 4 months? So that could have actually created Democrats could have said they passed something.
You guys are all an anxious sort. I understand.
Right, but you're saying that you can run on a message of,
if you'll let me finish, I'll be glad to.
Go ahead.
Yeah, it's a lot easier if I'm allowed to talk too.
I have been giving you plenty of time.
You needed to get both bills done to get that done. And
she did just step on him. You don't need both bills. You don't
have paid and family medical leave for 4 weeks in the bill and a prescription drug benefit.
But you know the Senate isn't. I mean,
people will feel that. What we call this is the storm before the calm.
Okay, the man sits on the Appropriations Committee, and he thinks next year is going to be the calm because we're going to spend trillions of dollars and eventually just make energy more and more expensive for the average American.
How in the world does this make energy more expensive for the average American? Because there's no ANWR. Is that what we're doing? And there's no ANWR, and we're transitioning away from fossil fuels. It opens up nuclear again, which would mean all the electric cars and that kind of stuff would pull from the grid that way. People on with solar panels would feed back into the grid as well.
By the way, magically, the new climate core will miraculously make inflation disappear. Isn't that a great trick?
Wholly unrelated. But, again, the definition of insanity is taking multiple sentences that don't belong together, stitching them together and going, I make sense.
Now, voters in Virginia and New Jersey are not stupid.
Well, apparently the ones in Virginia are, but... but you are saying that the ones in New Jersey aren't. So they elected a Democrat, which is the smart way to go. That's what you're saying.
What Nancy Pelosi and Chuck Schumer and Dick Durbin, the whole crew, want to do. And they know it's going to cause more inflation and lower the standard of living for everyone but the very rich or the very well-connected.
And by the way, I think she's talking about moving towards net zero climate emissions and limiting fossil fuels. Because the idea is that the rich are already set and that expenditures of fossil fuels as a cheap and reliable fuel source benefits people in poor situations more often. In the third world, there's a geopolitical argument that she's probably heard made a bunch of times, has nothing to do with the United States.
Urban moms cared a lot about education for sure, but the economy, supply chain issues, empty stores on Christmas.
Yeah. This Christmas is fucked. They've done all these moms who've done their Christmas shopping before Election Day.
That bothers them a heck of a lot too. Democrats managed to
And the governor of Virginia is supposed to do what?
even lose 75th House of Delegates district in Virginia, which is majority black. Of course, the very force.
Oh, here we go again. This is again. Does this seem like somebody who won last night, who's happy that she won? No, she has the same problem Tucker Carlson had. We won last night because black people voted our way. I didn't even realize they could vote in that area. Why do I have to now like them? Why must I share a space with them?
That drag the Democrats.
They're supposed to be, that shit I've been saying about them being a monolithic voting bloc for the Democrats? That was hope.
Down, though, are still betting it all on the race issue.
Youngkin played the race card for a reason, because he knows it works on certain white voters.
Racism raised its ugly head, and the Republican candidate used it very aptly.
They're feeding them anger, they're feeding them resentment.
Some of it was...
Hold on. Anger and resentment aren't necessarily a racism thing. If you're going to put together a montage, stay focused.
dog whistle racism.
1,000%.
But
okay.
1,000%. You can't have 1,000%. There's only 100 per 100. It's 100%. 100%. And the truth is, it's probably closer to 82% because there's other shit always going on.
For a Biden impersonation. It's not working. The example of the Jamaican-born Winsome Sears, you just saw her on Sean Hannity, is Virginia's new Republican lieutenant governor. She makes...
Oh, this is... I'm enjoying how upset Tucker and Laura are about this.
All look like frauds. Oh, and if you were talking about Cuban-American Jason...
Get her off the screen. Get her off the screen. Can we move on to somebody else? This guy.
Mayares, who won the race for Attorney General in Virginia. Now, both are firsts in the Old Dominion. But, of course, we know Democrats only prattle on about firsts when they're on their team.
No, we're just most of the time it does happen on our team, and we're mostly the ones doing it.
The populist conservative movement was already gaining Hispanic support under Trump, and that support is only growing. Sean Trendeo.
By the way, let's listen to that sentence again. And who did she put on screen?
Under Trump, and that support is only growing.
The popular support of Latinos,
Hispanic support under Trump,
Hispanics.
And that support is only growing.
Why is that growing? What is the implication here? That having a trans person in the military and a black person running it is something that Hispanics don't like. That's what he's not pointing to a Hispanic. She's saying these are decisions that are driving away Hispanics. Yeah.
Sean Trende of Real Clear Politics noted that so the shifts in New Jersey should be much more concerning to Democrats than the more or less uniform swing we saw in Virginia.
Don't undercut you can't do that to him, Sean T at RCP, because the shift in New Jersey, the Democrats still in charge and will be dictating policy. Whereas the swing in Virginia was special and now it's a uniform swing. I mean, it is. We talked about this yesterday. It was a uniform swing. There's nothing to get excited about. This is a Virginia thing. There's a wedge of independent voters that, apropos of nothing, no matter which group, was like, oh, they went a little this way, they went a little that way. That wedge of voters always does the shifting so that the non-college educated moms, for example, wouldn't have made a dent except for those folks that always go, well, as a Democrat in the White House, we should vote for a Republican. Even shit out.
Biggest swings from 2017 are in heavily Hispanic areas.
Now, cool. Hey, guess what? Hispanic people, like every other racial group, are not politically monolithic. And you have to address their concerns either under one of two envelopes. Either you have to call out their special needs, as you would do with some sort of interest group across the board, or address them as simply Americans. Because that's the wonderful thing we all share. But I'm sure she'll teach us a little bit something about how they're all, these are probably just secret Democrats are going to flip the other way anyways.
Talk more about the Hispanic issue later on in the show.
Yes. I want to hear the conversation that Laura has about the Hispanic issue after the show that she has during the breaks.
But somehow, Democrats conclude that the way to stop the bleed with Hispanic voters is to spend hundreds of billions of dollars on climate change and universal pre-K.
This is a gubernatorial race. They didn't fly McAuliffe to the COP26.
And how exactly will Hispanic small business owners, and there are thousands and thousands, stay?
Don't get too upset. Everywhere I go, fucking taco trucks. It's like Hillary got elected.
Fully staffed when Democrat policies will just make it easier for people to stay home longer.
Yes, that's the biggest concern with Hispanic business owners. And Laura knows. She's got the inside scoop on Hispanic business owners, that they can't find people to work for them because of the UI that's already expired in Virginia.
Friends, this is sheer madness. Trump's pre-COVID economic success demonstrated how to do it. He did it.
Yeah, one of the best things you can do for the unemployment rate is let a bunch of people die, I guess. Is that what you're saying, Laura? Is that you cull the herd? You know, a good herd culling, that'll cut down. You can't flip a burger when you're dead.
The fact is, Democrats long ago, lost touch with the beating heart of America, which is its...
No, thank you, Amy. I don't need Oreos. It's a thing. I've the damage, but I'll be all right. Thank you.
Class, the blue-collar workforce. Their jobs were exported overseas, and the old establishment didn't care, frankly, of either party.
I'm just going to enjoy the idea that Laura Ingraham is finding herself in a position where she is having to scoop Hispanic small business owners into the working class that she always talks about as an entirely separate class, and is miserable doing it. Remember, these people are supposed to be telling you they won last night. All right? Think about this. Look how miserable Tucker was. Look at Laura. Are these people like, finally, you know what? Are they breathing deep? Are they talking in their monologue closely to you like, hey, this is a reality that we're dealing with, and the Dems got trounced last night. This is because people have done this. We're going to have somebody on the show in a little bit who will talk about this. Oh, I'm breathing a breath of fresh air. I feel like I'm just kind of relaxing into this. No, both of these idiots are sphinctered up right now.
and sons are now dying from drugs crossing our southern border.
Probably brought in by some Hispanic small business owner. Right, Laura? Oh, right. Shit. Not one that voted for Youngkin, though.
They don't care. They're losing their jobs because of...
Yes, they don't care, Laura. The Democrats who are trying to give universal pre-K and college to people are hoping that somewhere they'll save money on the budget because between universal pre-K and community college, they'll lovingly die of a drug overdose to save the country some money. You know. You should die for country. Shit.
Vax mandates, but the Democrats don't care. They're in favor of vax mandates. And now these same blue-collar workers are struggling to fill up their gas tanks, and no one on the left cares.
Well, yeah, we do. That's why we're trying to come up with a long-term solution instead of spackling the shit like we've been doing since 1972.
Perhaps Democrats should remember what happened the last time they ran.
By the way, she does know that the electric Ford F-150 kicks ass, right?
Through their dream.
Yes, exactly, Josh. And it's a testing mandate. Fuck you.
Legislation, despite having zero Republican support.
You see all that red, you see all that flashing.
Yeah, but that's not because those Republicans have people in their district that don't want it. Those Republicans are what I think Fox News often refers to as Washington elites, completely disconnected from real Americans' wants and needs, right? Isn't that what we hear about D.C. all the time? Well, what would be the definition of that, folks? What would be the very definition of that? That would be a congressperson from a district where 70% of the people there, many of whom voted for that person, and the others who didn't, but still are serviced by that person because it's a service job, 70% of those people want a bill to pass. And that person goes back to D.C. and votes against it. That would be a Washington elite who is totally disconnected from the wants and needs of the average American, especially their constituents. They are voting against the majority of their constituents who want this for party reasons. You know, kind of in a Stalin-esque kind of a way.
Those are Republican pickups, and we are nowhere near finished. We do know the Republicans will win more than 50 seats, most likely more than 60 seats, and Wolf, it is everywhere. It is north.
2008, 2006, Republicans win that. What? 2010? Oh, you think? Laura thinks the men in black are gonna flash something in our face, and all of a sudden we're gonna forget Trump. Did the Trump years even happen? I mean, I kind of wish that would happen to some degree.
South, east, west, liberals are being beat, moderates are being beat. It is a shellacking.
Yes, it's a shellacking in 2010. Republicans net gains in 2010, 63 House. It's very exciting. It could happen.
2010 results were a total rejection of the partisan passage of Obamacare.
Or black dude. There's a lot of that, too.
Obama himself didn't try to dodge responsibility.
Yesterday's vote confirmed what I've heard from folks all across America. People are frustrated. They're deeply.
Yeah. Republicans never wanted the ACA because they like the status quo and they want people to die poor. And progressives stomped their feet, crossed their arms, and stayed home because they wanted more from a bill they couldn't get. So they decided to fuck the country rather than show up.
Frustrated.
Yeah, don't get, yes, right, Mom Adu. Don't get me started on those 1906 results, right?
The pace of our economic recovery and the opportunities that they hope for their children and their grandchildren. And as president, I take responsibility for that.
Now today, of course, his Veep.
No footage of Trump saying anything. You didn't have Like, where's this? Let's see. What's this guy?
I didn't become different. I got impeached twice.
Yeah, you mean like reflect?
I had to beat off
Oh, that's not the right thing. I'm sorry. What did you have to beat off?
Brett Kavanaugh.
Ouch. That sounds like it. What? That sounds painful, quite frankly. If you had to beat off Brett Kavanaugh, what noise did he make when it happened?
Maga.
Ooh, that's really? That's hideous. Sorry. All right. Where was I? It was this guy right here.
Boy, that was like a lightning rod went off.
Yeah, totally.
8 years, refused to take any responsibility.
Given what you said, do you take some responsibility?
I'm not sure that I would be able to have changed the number of very conservative folks who turned out in the red districts who were Trump voters, but maybe.
You won the state by 10 points.
No, I know we did, but I was running against Donald Trump.
Oh my, that is such an embarrassing answer.
Oh my God. How do you even hold it together, Laura? You're so embarrassed. I mean, honestly, this must be hard for you. It's so hard for her, guys. Guys, I feel bad for her right now.
While the Democrats' willful ignorance is a boon to Republicans, and it is, it's going to be terrible for the country.
Yeah. When they pass the bill that they didn't pass already, and they use the Virginia race and the Virginia loss as a reason to go ahead and push that bill through, and progressives consider their bluff called, and they pass the infrastructure bill, and that actually happens, and then it ends up getting projects started in all these areas, and people are driving around going, yep, that's a Biden project. That's a Biden project too. That's a Biden project. People are going to, like, yeah, it's going to be a shellacking in 2022. I can just see it.
Those who least deserve to suffer will be forced to suffer. Those who least deserve a big payday will get one.
And who would those be in your estimation? I mean, besides Hispanics on both sides, I guess.
A year from now, all Americans will have their say in the midterms. And the day...
Yes, a whole fucking year of you having to deal with the fact that you owe the Virginia win to Hispanics. Have fun holding on to that vote. Massage it, baby. That's right. You and Tucker take turns filleting the Hispanic bloc of the Republican Party for the next year. I'm sure they'll feel that it was sincere.
After the same experts who keep getting...
Oh yeah, wait, hold on. That came up. Hold on. Oh, that's unfortunate. Hold on one second. I have to bring this over here. 1 second. I think it was on, I want to say it was on Twitter that I saw it. What's happening? Oh, that's not. There you go. Let's see. This will be good for everybody who's believing the let's see. Yeah, there you go. Hold on, man. It's always a weird, the audio on that one's weird. Play back. Why doesn't it play back? It's so strange, this whole thing. Where?
Leaving for your overseas trip, there were reports that were surfacing that your administration is planning to pay illegal immigrants who are separated from their families at the border up to $450,000 each, possibly $1 million per family. Do you think that that might incentivize more people to come over illegally?
If you guys keep sending that garbage out, yeah, but it's not true.
So this is a garbage report?
Yeah.
Okay. So
$450,000 per person. Is that what you're saying?
That was separated from a family member at the border under the last administration.
That's not going to happen.
As you were...
Yeah, so I'm sorry. I know a lot of the Republicans in the, that show up in the chat need to believe that. Yeah, just bullshit. Just bullshit. But that didn't stop it from being sold on Fox News to everybody, on her show, right? Right? Yeah, why is Fox not reporting on all the voter fraud in VA? I don't know. It's an excellent question. I have to say, I get it. You know what I mean? I know a lot of us are very concerned that I wouldn't trust any vote any direction in Virginia. Clearly, that is. There's so much voter fraud. Even the voters are defrauding themselves. That's right. It's true. All right. Sorry, where were we? This is so goofy. All right.
Paid to be wrong will again try to explain away the Democrats' defeat.
Paid to be wrong? Tucker, she's talking about you, man.
Never acknowledging that it's because their policies are destroying the American dream.
The American dream. Their policies. Those policies of producing most things in China. And by they, she means Walmart.
It's the definition of insanity. And that's the angle.
Hey, Sean. Really? That's it. That's the whole. These were the winning monologues, kids. This was Tucker selling this. Look how happy. Look at Laura. Let's just pick a screen. There you go. Yeah. She's a little better at selling that she's happy than Tucker, but nah, I'm not buying it. Yeah. Amazing face.